I always sit in the last row. Because no one sits behind me. At least, that's what I thought. I'm Jason. Senior year, New York. I always sit in the back. Last seat. No one behind me. One day during class. I felt it. Breathing. Right behind my neck. I turned around. Nothing. Just empty space. I ignored it. But then. I heard whispering. So close. I couldn't make out the words. I asked the guy next to me. Did you hear that? He shook his head. Then I felt it again. A hand. Lightly touching my shoulder. I spun around. Nothing. This kept happening. Every day. Only in that seat. So I switched seats. Front row. No issues. But curiosity got me. A week later. I went back. Sat down. Waited. 5 minutes in. Nothing. I almost laughed. Thought I imagined everything. Then. I saw it. On my desk. Someone had written something. It wasn't there before. You left. My stomach dropped. Then, slowly. Letters started appearing. Like something invisible was writing. Why did you move? I stood up so fast my chair fell. And that's when I felt it again. Right behind me. Closer than ever. A whisper. Clear this time. That's my seat. I never sat in the back again. But sometimes. When class is quiet. I still feel it. Breathing. Waiting. I got detention after school. Nothing serious, just talking back to a teacher. There were only 5 of us in the room. At least, that's what I thought. Because when I checked the attendance sheet, there were only 4 names. My name is Jake. This happened during my junior year at a public high school in California. It was a normal day, until last period. I got into an argument with my history teacher. Nothing crazy, but enough to land me in detention. After school. Room 214. I remember walking down the hallway at around 3:30 p.m. The school felt different. Quieter than usual. Like all the noise had been drained out of it. Most students had already left. The lockers were shut. Lights dimmer. That strange after-school silence. When I reached room 214, the door was already open. Inside, there were 4 other students. All sitting quietly. Too quietly. I took a seat near the back. Didn't recognize anyone. No one talked. No one even looked at each other. Our teacher, Mr. Reynolds, sat at the front desk. Grading papers. He didn't say a word. Just pointed at a stack of worksheets. Complete these. No talking. That was it. About 5 minutes in. I started noticing something. There was a guy sitting 2 rows ahead of me. Head down. Face hidden. At first, nothing weird. But then I realized. He hadn't moved. At all. Not once. Everyone else shifted, stretched, looked around. But him? Completely still. I leaned over to the girl next to me. Hey, you know that guy? I whispered. She frowned. What guy? I pointed. Right there. She looked directly at him. Then back at me. Confused. There's no one there. I felt my stomach drop. What do you mean? He's right. I stopped. Looked again. He was still there. Head down. Same position. I laughed nervously. Okay, not funny. She shook her head. I'm serious. I didn't say anything after that. Just stared at the worksheet. Trying to ignore it. But then. The lights flickered. Just once. And in that moment. I saw him move. Slowly. He lifted his head. I froze. His face. Didn't look right. It was pale. Too pale. His eyes. Dark. Empty. Like there was nothing behind them. And he was looking directly at me. I looked away immediately. My hands were shaking. I tried to act normal. Tried to convince myself I was imagining things. Then I heard something. A sound. A chair scraping. Slow. Right behind me. I turned. Nothing there. But when I looked forward again. He was closer. One row closer. I swear. I didn't hear him move. I stood up suddenly. Sir, can I go to the bathroom? Mr. Reynolds didn't even look up. Sit down. My voice shook. I don't feel well. That's when he looked at me. And said something that didn't make sense. There are only 4 of you. I grabbed the attendance sheet from the front desk. My hands were trembling. I read the names. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was it. No 5th student. But I slowly turned back anyway. And he was standing now. Right behind me. Closer than anyone should be. His face just inches away from mine. And in a voice that didn't sound human. He whispered. You noticed me. I don't remember leaving that room. I don't remember how I got home. The next day. I went back to school. I checked the records for room 214. Years ago. A student had died there. During detention. They said he was sitting quietly. Head down. For over an hour. Before anyone realized. He wasn't breathing. I never went near that room again. But sometimes. When school is quiet. I still hear it. A chair. Slowly scraping. Right behind me. We had a fire drill during class. But when we got outside. None of the other classes were there. My name's Tyler. This happened in a middle school in Colorado. We were in math class when the alarm went off. Normal, loud, annoying. We lined up and walked outside. Everything seemed normal. But when we got to the field. Something felt off. No other classes. Just us. Where is everyone? Someone asked. The teacher looked confused. That's weird. Then the alarm stopped. Too suddenly. Like it had been cut off. Our teacher told us to wait. 5 minutes passed. No one came. No announcements. Nothing. Then. We saw someone standing near the school building. A student. Just, watching us. We waved. No response. Our teacher started walking toward the building. We followed. As we got closer, I realized something was wrong. The doors were locked. All of them. From the outside. And the student we saw was gone. We circled around. Every entrance, locked. Every window, dark. Then someone said, "Listen." From inside the building. We could hear it. Classroom noise. Talking. Desks moving. Like school was still happening. Without us. We started panicking. Some kids crying. Teacher banging on doors. Then. The alarm went off again. Louder. And suddenly. Everything snapped back. We were inside again. Back in our classroom. Like we had never left. Our teacher looked shaken. Did we go outside? Someone asked. No one had an answer. Later, we checked security footage. There was no fire drill. No record. Nothing. But one frame. Caught something. Us. Standing outside the building. Looking in. I wasn't supposed to be in the school after 6 p.m. But I stayed anyway. And I swear. I wasn't alone. My name is Daniel, and this happened when I was a senior at a public high school in Ohio. It was finals week. I had a chemistry exam the next day, and honestly, I was failing. So I stayed late after school. Most students had already left. Teachers were packing up. By 5:45 p.m., the hallways were almost empty. That's when my teacher said something weird. "Don't stay too late," he told me. "Custodians lock up at 7. I nodded. Didn't think much of it. I should have. By 6:10 p.m., the school felt different. You know how schools are loud, chaotic, full of energy. Yeah, all of that was gone. Just silence. The kind that presses against your ears. I was in the chemistry lab, flipping through notes, when I heard it. A locker slam. Loud. I froze. There shouldn't have been anyone left. I stepped into the hallway. "Hello?" I called out. No answer. Just the faint hum of fluorescent lights. I told myself it was probably a janitor. Still, something didn't feel right. I went back to studying. 5 minutes later. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. Coming from the hallway. I stopped breathing. "Okay, not funny," I said. No response. The footsteps stopped, right outside the door. Then. Tap. Something hit the glass window of the classroom door. Once. Twice. I slowly turned. And I saw a shadow. Not a person. Just a shape. Standing there. Not moving. I walked closer, slowly. And as I got near, it moved. Not away. Closer. Like it was trying to look in. I backed up immediately. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. Then the classroom lights flickered. Once. Twice. Then went out. I pulled out my phone and turned on the flashlight. The hallway outside was completely dark now. And that shadow. It was gone. I grabbed my bag. I wasn't staying another second. As I stepped into the hallway, I noticed something strange. The lockers. They were slightly open. All of them. Like, just cracked. I hadn't seen that before. Then. Slam. Every locker shut at once. I screamed. And then I heard it. Right behind me. A whisper. Right next to my ear. You stayed too long. I ran. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I just ran down the hallway toward the exit. But the hallway felt longer. Like it was stretching. My footsteps echoed. But there was another set. Behind me. Matching mine. I finally reached the front doors. They were locked. Of course they were. I started banging on them. Help. Someone open the door. Then. The whisper again. Right behind me. Closer this time. You didn't leave, when we did. I turned. And I swear. For just 1 second. I saw them. Dozens of figures. Standing in the hallway. Students. But, wrong. Their faces were dark. Empty. Watching me. Then the lights came back on. Everything was normal. The hallway was empty. The doors unlocked. I ran outside. The next day, I asked the janitor if anyone else was in the building. He looked at me strangely. And said. No one stays after 6:30. I never stayed late again. There's a classroom in my school. That doesn't exist anymore. Not on maps. Not on schedules. Not even in records. But I sat inside it. My name is Jackson. This happened in a high school in Oregon. I had just transferred. New school. New school. New layout. Still learning where everything was. One day, I got lost. I was trying to find my history class. But I took the wrong hallway. A hallway that felt too quiet. At the end of it, there was a classroom. Door slightly open. Lights on. I looked inside. Students were sitting. Teacher at the front. Normal class. So I walked in. No one reacted. I sat down quietly. The teacher kept talking. Like I had always been there. Something felt off. The students weren't moving much. No one looked at each other. No one spoke. Just stared forward. The teacher's voice. Monotone. Almost robotic. Then I noticed the board. The date written on it was wrong. Years wrong. I slowly turned around. And that's when every student turned their head at the same time. To look at me. Not normal turning. Too synchronized. Too fast. Their eyes. Completely black. The teacher stopped speaking. Silence. Then she said. You're not supposed to be here. I ran. Out of the room. Down the hallway. When I looked back. The hallway was gone. Just a blank wall. The next day. I asked about it. No one knew anything. But an old janitor told me something. There used to be a classroom there, he said. Years ago. What happened to it? He looked at me. And said. They closed it after what happened inside. I never went looking for it again. But sometimes, when I walk past that wall, I hear a voice. Still teaching.